The next speaker is India Permanent Representative, Mr. Tirumurti, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for organizing this timely discussion under the theme, what can the Security Council do to support the peace process in Afghanistan? Afghanistan today is at a critical juncture, and it is vital for the international community, especially the Security Council, to send the right message to everyone concerned. While our reservations on the ARIA format of meetings of the Security Council is on record, I'm happy to participate in this important meeting on Afghanistan. Allow me at the outset to thank His Excellency the President of Afghanistan and the Foreign Minister of Afghanistan for their important remarks. We deeply appreciate the various positive steps taken by the government of Afghanistan towards peace, security, stability, and development. Even as we meet today, fighting continues in Afghanistan in several areas across the country. Reports are coming in of civilians, including children and women, killed or injured in the violence. Terrorist attacks continue to target innocents and institutions of learning. COVID-19 has hit Afghanistan in the midst of a difficult political transition and an intensifying conflict. Nobody seeks peace more than the Afghan people, upon whom war has been imposed for more than 4 decades. All opportunities towards bringing peace and stability should be welcomed. Inclusive, Afghan-led, Afghan-owned, and Afghan-controlled peace efforts can bring long-term peace and stability. However, we are concerned about the increase in violence and the continuing loss of Afghan lives. It is our view that peace process and violence cannot go hand in hand, and we call for immediate, comprehensive ceasefire. For durable peace in Afghanistan, we have to put an end to terrorist safe havens and sanctuaries operating across the Durand Line. The report of the Analytical Support and Sanctions Monitoring Team under the Al-Qaeda-Daesh Sanctions Committee has also highlighted the presence of foreign fighters in Afghanistan. For violence to end in Afghanistan, these terrorist supply chains must be broken. It is time that the Security Council speaks unequivocally against violence and terrorist forces and acts against terrorist sanctuaries and safe havens. Mr. Chairman, India and Afghanistan are contiguous neighbors. We are connected together by centuries of historical people-to-people and cultural relations. India has stood resolutely behind the government and the people of Afghanistan and has supported the development of Afghanistan. Since 2001, India has committed over $3 billion towards development, reconstruction, and capacity building in Afghanistan. Major projects such as the Afghan-India Friendship Dam in Herat, the Afghan National Parliament building in Kabul, and the electricity supply grid between Kabul and northern Afghanistan stand testimony to the special place that Afghanistan occupies in our priorities. This assistance is besides the over 400 high-impact community development projects that we have implemented in Afghanistan and the more than 150 projects currently underway. Our developmental footprint is today spread across every one of the 34 provinces of Afghanistan. More than 65,000 Afghans have studied in India so far. We also prioritize Afghanistan in providing assistance to combat COVID. India supplied 75,000 metric tons of wheat to Afghanistan recently via the Chabahar port. To tide over the artificial and political obstacles of non-permit of full transit rights to Afghanistan for their products to reach India and Indian products to reach Afghanistan, we operationalized air freight corridors that has seen more than 1,000 flights. It is important for Afghanistan to have access to high seas. It is a testimony to our unwavering resolve to Afghanistan's peace and stability that we have invested both with sweat and blood for the development of Afghanistan. India has sacrificed many lives, including our diplomats, in the call of duty while serving in Afghanistan. Mr. Chairman, the overall objective of our endeavor has been only to bring lasting peace and stability in Afghanistan, as that is critical for the peace and security of the whole region. And for that to happen, the Security Council needs to ensure the following. Firstly, the peace process must be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned, and Afghan-controlled. Solutions must come from the Afghans themselves, in line with the wishes and aspirations of all sections of Afghan society. Sovereignty and territorial integrity of Afghanistan must be respected. Secondly, there needs to be zero tolerance of terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. Afghanistan can succeed only when terrorism is no longer flows across the Durand line. Terror and violence cannot be instrument to shape Afghanistan's future or dictate the choices Afghans make. It is important to ensure that no one provides sanctuary to terrorists who threaten Afghanistan or any other country in the region. Those who do so must be held accountable. Thirdly, the international community simply cannot afford to lose the gains of the last 2 decades. The progress achieved so far is hard-won. The future which we seek should have a place for every Afghan and should have space for everyone's aspirations. In particular, India is convinced that the rights of women needs to be strongly protected. Gender mainstreaming and safeguards are integral to the future of Afghanistan, and we appreciate the remarks of the President of Afghanistan in this context. The rights of the minorities and the vulnerable need to be safeguarded. Respect for human rights and democracy needs to be ingrained in any framework that a future Afghanistan designs for itself. The recent targeted attacks on ANDSF, universities, women occupying positions of responsibility, and the youth only serve to highlight the concerted efforts by terrorists and their sponsors to erode the gains of the last 2 decades. Fourthly, it is important to ensure that the issue of full transit rights to Afghanistan is not used by states to extract political prize from Afghanistan. The international community should discourage medieval mentalities and work towards removal of artificial transit barriers imposed on Afghanistan. It should ensure all transit rights guaranteed to Afghanistan under bilateral and multilateral transit agreements operate without any hindrance. India remains committed to working with the international community towards achieving this shared objective. Mr. Chairman, the situation in Afghanistan is a matter of concern. Restoration of normalcy in Afghanistan through a legitimate democratic process is essential for long-term stability of Afghanistan and the region. We are conscious of the fact that we will be starting our tenure in the Security Council at a critical juncture for Afghanistan. We extend our assurance that India will continue to provide all support to the government and the people of Afghanistan in realizing their aspirations for a peaceful, democratic, and prosperous future, where the interests of all sections of Afghan society are protected. We will continue to support all opportunities that can bring durable peace, security, and stability in the country. I thank you very much.
Thank you to all incoming members of the Security Council.